So the trade deadline has finally passed, and I gotta say, the Lakers absolutely cooked. But does this make them contenders? Let's talk about it. Before we get started, if you could do me a huge favor and drop a like on the video, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future Lakers and other sports content. It's definitely been an interesting few days leading up to the trade deadline, but at the end of it all, I'm pleasantly surprised. And although I have some interesting feelings about Rob Pelinka, we'll put that mildly, right? I got to give him some credit. You got to give credit where it's due. He cooked this trade deadline. I don't want to give him too much credit because some of these deals more or less kind of fell into his lap. But at the end of the day, he damn sure didn't mess it up. Okay, he had an opportunity and he took full advantage of it. I mean, if you think about it, he essentially turned Anthony Davis, Max Christie, Dalton Knecht, and Cam Reddish into Luka Doncic, Dorian Finney-Smith, Maxi Kleber, and last but not least, Mark Williams. Now, I can imagine that a lot of you might be thinking, who in the hell is Mark Williams? Well, allow me to shed some light. Mark Williams is a 23-year-old, 7'2", 240-pound center with a 7'6" wingspan. He has a 9'9" standing reach, which is currently the largest in the NBA. And by the way, he also has a 35-inch max vertical leap. He was traded from the Charlotte Hornets, and so far this season, he's averaging almost 16 points, almost 10 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and 1.2 blocks. And that's on almost 59% from the field. And he's also a 78% free throw shooter. Now, here's what's most impressive about those stats. He's basically a walking double-double, but that's only on an average of 25 minutes a game. That's crazy. Now, with that being said, it's not all sunshines and rainbows. There is a bit of a concern with his health. We're a little over halfway through the season, and he's only played 23 games so far. So going forward, his ability to stay on the court and continue to be productive is something we have to keep an eye on. However, when you consider all of the bigs that were quote-unquote either available on the market or were somehow tied to the Lakers in different rumors, Walker Kessler, Jonas Valanciunas, Miles Turner, etc., the fact that we were able to land Mark Williams, who is a true center and someone who would fit perfectly alongside Luka Doncic and his play style, was an absolute W. Mark Williams is long, he's athletic, he's active, he has high energy. Again, he's only 23 years old. He has actually a nice touch around the rim. He's not a stretch five by any means, so he hasn't taken any three-pointers this year. But when you think about this roster and how it's currently constructed, especially around its two stars, Luka Doncic and LeBron James, we don't need him to be a stretch five. The reason why this acquisition was such a W is because he fits exactly what we do need. Athleticism, rim protection, a lob threat, high energy, verticality, pretty much everything that you want in just a physical, athletic center. And something to keep in mind as well is he's actually not bad when you think of switchability. He's nowhere near someone like Anthony Davis, but at the same time, he actually fares pretty well when caught in certain situations where he has to switch on a pick and roll. He'll handle himself fairly well, which also makes him very versatile. And last but not least, I'll mention again, he's only 23 years old. So not only will his skill set help us now, but this is basically going to be our center for the foreseeable future. So you're talking about putting him in a situation where he has LeBron James on one side, Luka Doncic on the other. He has JJ Redick as his head coach, who's emerging as a strong head coach in the NBA. I cannot think of a better situation to be put in for, again, a young center like that to grow, develop, and eventually maximize his potential. So that's the gist of it, okay? That's Mark Williams. And now that you're a little bit more familiar, it's time to answer the question. After this trade deadline, as currently constructed, are the Los Angeles Lakers contenders? And in my opinion, yes, I think they are. And here's why. Now, bear in mind, we still have the buyout market. We can sign free agents, whatever the case may be. We are currently in second apron team. So we can't sign anyone that's making the mid-level exception or higher. So in other words, whether it's the buyout market, free agency, whatever, that player has to be making less than $12.8 million a year. So I just wanted to throw that out there. But as currently constructed, let's take a look at the roster. Okay, I think it's pretty safe to assume that the starting five would be Luka Doncic at point. You got AR at the 2, Rui at the 3, Bron at the 4, and then Mark Williams at the 5. I personally would prefer DFS starting at the 3, having Rui come off the bench, but that's just me. Now, off the pine, we got Jared Vanderbilt, Gabe Vincent, Jackson Hayes, Shake Milton, and honestly, Bronny James has been getting some minutes too, but, we'll see how that goes. The one person that I am looking at, though, is Christian Wood. Man, if this dude can ever get healthy, bro. As of now, we won't consider him, but if he does, I think that could actually be huge for the Lakers. I mean, the versatility that we would have, the additional size, we'd have more playability from basically the 3 to the 5 spot, which is huge. But just looking at the roster as it is, I don't see any glaring holes in this roster. I see offense, I see defense, I see length, I see competitors, I see versatility, I see switchability, I see athleticism. I mean, across the board, I think this is a really well-balanced roster. And not to mention, we have 2 superstars, Luka Doncic and LeBron James. I mean, here, look at it this way. Forget the names. All right, just for now, forget the names. Just allow me to describe this roster to you. You have 2 superstars. Both of them can score and play make with the best of them, as good as anyone in the league. You have a surefire spot-up three-point shooter who's long, fairly athletic. He has a pretty decent mid-range game as well. You have a true big who's 7'2", crazy wingspan. He's long, he's super athletic, he's physical, can finish at the rim, and he's a lob threat. And you also have a third option that's incredibly crafty, can get to the free throw line. He's a good three-point shooter and is actually really good at generating his own offense off the dribble. How do you visualize that starting 5? Because that's what I just described to you. I just described to you the Lakers starting 5 in Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, and Mark Williams. And coming off the bench, we have an athletic lob threat backup center. We have one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. We have a point of attack defender who is a really good three-point shooter, and potentially more if they can get healthy. How are you feeling about that? Because I'm telling you right now, I'm feeling pretty damn good. When you think about today's NBA, especially when you're building a team around someone like Luka Doncic and, of course, LeBron James, what more do you want? You can argue that you may want another option that's a little bit more defensive-minded, more defensive versatility at the guard position, right? Because Austin Reeves and Luka, I'll admit that is not the best combination when you're talking about a defensive backcourt, right? That's also another reason why I would prefer someone like DFS to start at the 3 and have Rui come off the bench, because DFS, he brings that defensive presence out on the wing. And then you have LeBron doing what he does. And of course, we have the rim protector and Mark Williams. But at the same time, look at the Mavericks. They just went to the finals with Luka and Kyrie Irving as their backcourt. So, I mean, don't tell me it can't be done, right? I mean, the roster doesn't have to be absolutely perfect and ideal in order to get where you need to go, which obviously for us Lakers, we know we want championships. So that is the ultimate goal. We want to get to the finals and come out on top. Don't tell me it's not possible when you have talented offensive players like Luka and AR as your primary guards. It can definitely be done, especially when you have the versatility that we have. Again, we got Jared Vanderbilt, we got Rui Hachimura, we have DFS, we have length, versatility, switchability to help some of those deficiencies from the guards and from the guard position, essentially. So, I mean, listen, just let me know what you think. Because I think even as currently constructed, without any other free agents or somebody from the buyout market, we are contenders. We have to see how it plays out. We have to give JJ Redick a little bit of time to draw up some things and orchestrate this roster to where we can be very productive on both ends. But we have the tools. We have the players. It's just time to execute. So again, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you agree with me? Do you believe that as currently constructed, the Lakers are contenders? Or do you think, this season is more of a wash? It's more so down the line, we got to make more moves over the summer type deal. Because I think we're in a really good spot. I mean, Jesus, LeBron James, he just doesn't age, bro. Like, he's still playing at a very high level, and now you're going to pair him with Luka, and you're going to give him a big and a good supporting cast that's getting better, getting healthier. Yeah, I think we're definitely making a run this year for sure. But that's just me. Let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and drop that like. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you on the next video.